Hi everyone. In this presentation, we'll take a quick overview of educational technology, its impact on teaching and learning, characteristics of today's learners, skills for the 21st century, and then end by identifying some frameworks that will help us to integrate technology effectively in our teaching. We are constantly being bombarded by digital content every second of our life. The numbers are just staggering. Let's take a look at one of the websites that puts live statistics on the internet. This is from internetlivestats.com, and this website continuously updates the number of changes happening on the internet. Let's read a few. At the moment, there are more than 3 billion, almost 4 billion users on the internet. Number of emails sent today, number of tweets, Google searches, almost 4 billion, number of photos uploaded, videos viewed on YouTube, number of websites hacked, 60,000 plus. Here's an interesting number that maybe we don't think often when we think about the internet. 2 million tons of CO2 emissions today from the internet. So that's a lot. So it's pretty clear that we are constantly being bombarded by technology, and this constant digital bombardment has created the always on generation. Kids that look like kids from before, but neurologically they are different. They think differently, they talk differently, they learn differently than us. And this new digital landscape has created a new generation of learners. These are the post-millennials, aka Generation Z, also known as the always-on generation. They share a globalized culture that is constantly being redefined due to new emerging technologies. So the question is, or I should instead say the questions are, how's technology changing us? How is it changing the way we learn? What are the characteristics of today's learners? What type of 21st century skills do we need for our students? And how can we leverage technology to address the needs of today's learners? And finally, what does this mean for students with special needs? So what are the traits? Let's begin with the first question. What are the traits that define today's learners? There are many websites, videos, books that talk about this. For the sake of time, I'm just going to borrow the 10 traits mentioned by Holly Clark and Tanya Avrith in their book, The Google Infused Classroom. These 10 traits pretty much sum up the various ways today's learners learn. So here they are. Number 1. Today's students are digital natives. They are the first real digital natives. They have never known a world without smartphones, tablets, and social media. Number 2, they talk in images. Number 3, they are social entrepreneurs and like their learning to have meaning and purpose. Number 4, they think in 4D, 360-degree, and high-definition videos. Number 5, they prefer to do hands-on and interactive projects. They're hands-on learners. Number 6, they communicate in short, bite-sized ideas. They're bite-sized communicators. Number 7, they like to create. They're creative. Number 8, they have a global reach. Their social circle is global, leading to a globalized culture. Number 9, they are mobile techies. Their cell phones are the hub of their social lives. Number 10, they are gamers. They want to win using strategies, practice, and do-overs. Now, if you noticed, each card has a strategy and it is missing. And of course, the implication is all of these traits somehow impact the way our students learn today. Now, I've left them out intentionally because I want you to think about the various ways that we need to reach out to these learners. What do you think these strategies are? In class, we will play a short game to figure them out. So now that we know to a certain extent the types of learners that we have, the next question is, how's technology redefining the skills needed for the global marketplace of tomorrow? So in other words, what are the 21st century skills we need to develop in our students? And once again, there are many speculations on what those skills are. I'll mention a couple of them. One are the 9 I's mentioned in the book Reinventing Learning for the Always-On Generation by Ian Jukes and Ryan Schaff and Nikki Mohan. And you can refer, you can look these up on the net. Another example are the standards from the ISTE for students, and they're listed here. And you can actually click on each standard and look at the description for each standard, a more specific competency that is mentioned. And you can actually also go to standards for educators, and you can look those up as well. So that's another example of the types of skills that are needed for the 21st century. Another set of standards that are of interest to us would be the ones posted on the Michigan Department of Education's website, and I would encourage you to take a look at those when you have the time when you have some time. So the next question is, how can we leverage technology to achieve these standards? Can we just apply the same tool or strategy to all students? Does one size really fit all? And we know the answer to that. We know that one size, shape, or style for that matter does not really fit all. We also know that one strategy in a certain situation may not be effective in another situation. So we can't just cut and paste. So we need to move away from a focus on tools to outcomes. So today's teachers, they have to be kind of like to use a metaphor, like a Swiss Army knife, flexible, versatile, and adaptable to the ever-changing needs of our students. They need to find creative ways to make meaningful learning happen with the resources available to them, and then that's how we can leverage technology so that it can have an impact on our teaching strategies, students' learning, and enhance or help meet the standards. Now, an idea that is central to creative uses of technology in teaching and learning is the concept of repurposing. We are familiar with the idea of repurposing old or used things. For example, artists are really great at repurposing. Here are some old wine bottles as candle holders, an African musical instrument made from a food can, skis repurposed as a bench, a ladder repurposed as a coat rack. These are all traditional ways of repurposing. Let's extend this idea to education. Can you think of technologies that educators have borrowed or appropriated for the purpose of teaching and learning? I'm sure you're aware of many. Let me share with you a few. We are familiar with Snapchat. Tara Martin at tarammartin.com uses Snapchat in her language arts classroom to enable her students to write their reflections on their readings. Now that's an excellent example of how a technology has been repurposed for the use of the classroom. Here's an idea that was suggested by one of my students in her technology integrated curriculum project. She used the voice recognition feature in Google Assistant to help students practice their pronunciation in a French language class. So that's another example of how everyday technology has been repurposed for learning. Here's another example, a talking calculator app that can speak in English, Japanese, German, and Spanish. And it can be used in the classroom for a variety of purposes, including as an assistive technology, and the list goes on and on. Now, Bouck et al. In their paper Fix It with Tape proposed a set of criteria acronymed TAPE. And they proposed this criteria for actually as a framework for repurposing assistive technology. Now the TAPE stands for T, transportable. The technology has to be, when it is repurposed, it has to be transportable, meaning portable. It has to be readily available, A for available, and then P for practical, easy to set up and use, and then E for engaging. So going back to our metaphor of the Swiss Army knife, it is more of a process. It's a temperament. It's a habit of the mind, a level of expertise that comes with experience. So rather than being prescriptive, thinking about tools or strategies, the Swiss Army knife approach, it's a type of critical thinking that helps you to organize your thoughts so you can make informed decisions about technology integration. In subsequent videos, I will share with you 3 frameworks for technology integration called the TPACK model, which stands for Technological Pedagogical Content Knowledge, the SAMR model, which stands for Substitution, Augmentation, Modification, and Redefinition, and then a simplified version of the SAMR model called the RAT model, which stands for Replacement, Amplification, and Transformation, and then finally the SET framework for assistive technology, which stands for Student, Environments, Tasks, and Tools. So these frameworks will help you to maintain a critical perspective on technology, thereby helping you make informed decisions about technology integration, and in the process becoming a more effective and reflective practitioner. Wishing you all the best, and thank you for watching.